Okay, so as you can see, this idea failed terribly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try something different this time. What I've done is I've basically put the lid back on, and I'm going to go ahead and re-weld it, as you see I started doing right here, which those welds look terrible, but I'll grind them out. That's what grinders are for, right? Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and weld back the cap on, and then we'll try this. I'll go in a different direction with this. So let me get this done, and then I'll start doing the other thing I need to do. Whatever that is, I have to figure it out. Okay, so I'm finally finished welding up the chamber back to the way it was. So I'm back at square one. The only good thing about this is that the whole garage smells like barbecue right now, because obviously there's some smoke residue in here, so it smells like if you were at a barbecue pit, which is really making me hungry right now, but I guess I'll continue with this project anyway. So what I'm going to do now is I rolled out a circular ring, which I'm going to try to fit on top of this and then tack it in place. Obviously ground down the edges just to clean it up from the paint, and then I'm going to tack weld that in piece. So what I'm going to try to do is put that ring on top of it and then try to get it to a specific height, or at least, you know, keep it somewhat level. And then we'll go ahead and tack that in, and hopefully that will allow me to create a lid based off of that, because the chamber itself should be pretty round, at least the way it is right now. So we'll go ahead and try this. Let's get started. All right, time for the plasma torch. Gonna cut a circle in the top of this using this lip as a guide, and hopefully it doesn't cave in. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so as you can see here, I've got the leftover hole from the smokestack, or where it used to be. I'm going to use this as the air intake. It's kind of a weird oval or egg shape. What I've already done is I've taken a piece of 4-inch square tube, and I've just gone ahead and cut this radius around the edge, just so it would fit on the cylinder. And I'm going to go ahead and cut out the rest of this metal in here so it's a better square. The only problem is that I've got this little overlap here that isn't filled in. So I'm going to go ahead and take a piece of sheet metal after I'm done with that and just fill this in, and everything should be airtight. So let me get started on doing that now. Alright, so we've got the air intake all done. It's basically welded on. It is a 4-inch piece of square tube that I had to cut. You see we've got this little sliding door here, and I'm using this eye bolt right now just to, let's say for example, if I want to lock it in place right there, and that's all the air I want. That's all the air it's gonna get. Alright, so this is the little system that I came up with to hold the Rex in place. I borrowed this design from another barbecue maker and just kind of modified it a little bit. Basically it consists of these 1/2-inch rods with these little metal fins on the end of them. There's 4 of them. And basically what these do is these catch the rack standoffs and hold them in place. So there's 3 of them. They're equally distanced apart in the chamber, as you can see. So each one of them has 4 fins, and each one of those is a different height for each one of the racks. So I just went ahead and took some measurements and have them standing off a little bit so that the little nubbin that's on these racks can fit in place. So here's the little rack that I made a little while ago, and as you see it just slips in place, and then I can move this kind of up and down as I need it. I'm going to try to do this one-handed. And you see I can go from 2nd position to 3rd position down to the 4th if needed. And then I can just drag it all the way back up to the top. Obviously, that hole that I'm showing you right now would be filled. This is the rib rack that I'm going to use as well, so you can use a combination of these. So pretty simple design, but I actually kind of like it. It was a good idea from someone else that I just kind of borrowed. So hopefully it works out. We'll see if there's any problems with it when I use it. Alright, so welded the hinge on. As you see, it works pretty well right now. That little spot right here is where the lid catches, so it doesn't tip all the way back. As you can see, it's a little bit unstable right now just because it's got a rounded bottom, but I'll fix that later on when I add some wheels to this thing. But for right now, we've got a happy lid. Alright, so here's the finished chamber. I added a little door on the back just so that we can add more charcoal when wood is needed. This is a smoker basket or the fire basket that I just created. Added a handle on there, just make it easier to pull out. This is the air intake with its new little handle. Let's see, I've got the lid. I need to add a handle on here. I'm making one out of wood right now. And this is the smokestack, which I repurposed from just random parts. It's got a little thermometer in there to gauge the temperature. This is the rib rack. And as you see, the inside has a nice little patina already because I've burnt some loads of charcoal and wood in there already just to test it out. Make sure that everything was burnt off and that everything is protected. As you see, I'm moving the rib rack up and down with one hand, which wouldn't be as easy if this thing was hot, but as you see, it moves pretty easily up and down, so you can adjust the temperature on your meat as you need to. So overall, a fun little build. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. That's a little tool holder on the back. I'm using to hold the extra rack as needed. The outside has just high temperature paint that you can get at Home Depot. I've added some wheels on the back. These are just standard lawnmower wheels just to make the thing easier to move around and then keeping it off the grass. The front has a little caster just to keep everything nice and level. And I think that's pretty much it. So overall, a fun little build. As you can see in a minute, I'm cooking some ribs on here, which was the whole purpose of making this thing, because ribs, who doesn't love ribs? So if you guys like this build, hopefully you'll like and subscribe, and well, we'll hope you have a good one. See you on the next project.